Johnny, how's it going?
Going good. How's it going with you?
Not too bad.
A client of mine.
This is Brad Sipp.
Brad Sipp. Hello.
Nice
So
to meet you.
He's the one I talked to you about before when we talked about moving forward with trial, that he was going to kind of do a mock cross-examination of you.
But I told you I wasn't going to do that.
That's fine. But he's reviewed all the evidence.
Okay.
If we're moving forward to trial, 3 heads are better than 2. Would you agree?
I would.
Okay.
But
So that's why we're kind of figuring out how we're going to move forward, some of the hills that we've got to climb at trial, and how we're going to get through that.
I mean, that's fine, but all I was here to do is find out what we're going with tomorrow. Because we're in docket call tomorrow. We're not in trial.
But you're set for trial starting, you're the first trial to start in August at the jury term.
The judge has never told me that.
No, that's what she would tell you tomorrow.
Oh, well, I hope so, but that would be tomorrow, and we would find out what we're going to do tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's talk about, though, I want to start thinking about the trial, because that would start, the term starts.
I'm fine with thinking about the trial. I'm fine with that, but I'm not getting cross-mock examined, and I wouldn't feel okay with talking with him in here.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Have a good one. See you later. If you get up on...
I'm not getting up on the stand.
Okay, then...
I'm 100% committed to pleading the fifth.
Okay. So
and I will exercise my right. I will exercise my right to bring my witnesses.
This to you, and that's one of the reasons why Mr. Sipp was here, was to talk about how we can get over an obstacle of you not pleading or not testifying. I don't know how we can get... What defense would we have?
And I would like to know, what responses did you get from Morgan, like you said in your email?
So I am still waiting on him to provide the video. So this is, let me pull that up. Pull this other one up.
But at the end of the day, these guys are forcing my hand. It's gonna be public record. I'm throwing their discovery right back at them. I definitely have examined the evidence I do have, even though there will be. I've given you a snippet, updated checklist of things that I haven't had,
and most of that
things that are proven.
Yeah, none
proven
of
that
that
it's
stuff matters.
there. It does matter, because every little point matters. If I'm facing 22 years of my life,
what evidence comes in the trial is relevant evidence.
So the gun charge should have been dropped before it got to district court.
Why would the gun charge be dropped?
Because it wasn't illegal. Ben was not a felon, and I have a lease agreement. It's a separate dwelling. I have a lease agreement.
And how am I going to get that lease agreement in?
What do you mean? You have it.
How can I get it into evidence?
We can submit it.
That's not how that works.
Oh,
see, this is why I go to law school, because you can't Google this stuff, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. So how should we?
I'm telling you, we can't.
How?
It's hearsay, and nobody to lay foundation for it. Who's going to testify to say that's what that document is?
My aunt. Even without the lease agreement, it still proves in their own paperwork and that they didn't verify that Ben was not a felon. The fruit of the poisonous tree, which is the root. I'm talking about the root of the poisonous tree, not the fruit of the poisonous tree. I'm talking about where it started.
That's already
was in the phone call. It wasn't illegal. He wasn't convicted. He was not in. He was just because he went to jail on a felony doesn't make him a felon. It's an improper argument.
That's the one part of the case where I think I can make a good faith argument. The question is if a jury's going to buy it or not. Of you were asked by Ben to get whatever those
an orange pouch. I didn't even know what it was at the time.
And again, jurors aren't stupid. Okay.
Okay.
You say there's parts of this where you have to know what it is. Because,
no, I don't.
Well, then why would you say we went? So did he not have the orange pouch when you went?
When I got the orange pouch from the place,
right?
Yeah, of course I found out what it was, but I didn't know what it was when we were having that phone call. Okay. You're talking about the phone call now.
Okay. So at the time you didn't know what an orange pouch was, and then you go over there and you find out it's a gun.
Yep. Okay. And I thought it was for the greater good of the children, because obviously they were both in jail.
Like I said, that one I think we've got a potential good faith ability.
They shouldn't have even been in Tori's house either. They tried to say that she possessed my legal weapon, my pistol. They tried to say they recovered it from her. I showed you those papers.
I realize that some data entry person put in there that they recovered
you can say
it from
data
her.
entry.
It doesn't matter. What does it matter?
Okay, it's a big point in my case. There's a lot of them. Because every little point is a timeline that shows that I was not. And you have to be, like I said, the charges.
You tell me what you want to do.
I believe we need to ask for a Brady hearing. I mean, I say Brady/Gilligo, but I know for sure Brady hearing.
So Brady hearing is when they have not turned over relevant evidence. What relevant evidence have they not turned over?
I've given you the snippet.
No, what relevant evidence have they not turned over?
The cruisers, the reports, the the
They don't have
videos
to
of
turn over
everybody's
everything.
interviews? If they don't, then but I have the rights to examine everything if I'm facing 22 years.
No, you don't. Tomorrow, you're going to start being your own attorney, and I'll be backup counsel, and you can make these arguments to the judge. But I'm not going to make these arguments to the judge because I know what the law is.
Okay. That's
So-
fine. I'm gonna exercise my right to be heard, to let her know what my concerns are, and to let her know what I think should have been done and what I think is reasonable for my constitutional right and my right in general, and how the evidence is still being withheld. I got a continuance until July 22nd on my civil suit because the evidence is being withheld. I mean, obviously he gave me a continuance for a reason. Who cares about Corey? I actually found out by pulling my record that Corey was actually working a little more than I thought. Unfortunately, I think he got pressured like I have my assumption or my suspicions now.
So
But
you think
other than
I've
that,
been pressured? Tell me what way you believe I've been pressured.
I can't. I'm just saying I suspect it.
Okay.
I can't tell you. I'm not saying you have been.
Okay. So let me.
But yeah, like I said, Corey.
I'm gonna go.
Corey even mentioned there's money being involved. You've mentioned it in the past that I don't have enough
What money?
money.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't recall it. I know, just like you don't recall saying I had a valuable defense and then saying I was going to do prison time.
Okay.
Even without the lease, though,
Okay.
he was not a felon. You didn't do your research. He did not do a felon.
He's not a felon. She is.
But she was not.
They're going to argue that you were also helping.
There's one way out and one way in, and you said that's another reason why you have a good defense on the gun charge, is because you can prove that there was one way out and one way in, and also with the lease agreement. You said that's what you said last time.
But then we've got.
And he wasn't a felon.
But then I find out more information. Who was getting into that apartment?
What do you mean?
Who else was getting into that apartment besides? Oh, sorry, names don't stick in my head. What's his name?
I don't know.
Who was renting the damn thing?
Ben?
Ben. Who else was getting in the apartment besides Ben?
Nobody.
Bull.
That I know.
Who else got into the apartment besides Ben? You sure got into it.
I sure didn't.
Yes, you did. How did you get into the apartment?
What I'm saying is I sure don't know.
Oh, yes, you do. It's in the evidence.
No.
Who else got into that apartment?
Who?
Did your cousin get into the apartment?
I don't know.
Your aunt's daughter? How did she get into that apartment?
I didn't get those phone calls, Trevin. Did you look at our discovery?
It's written in the discovery.
Okay, but those are lies. I don't trust their paperwork. Give me the visual. Give me the audio. Give me the phone calls. I have the right to examine them. The courts ruled on a motion, Trevin, that I didn't even have the evidence to. I have one phone call. One.
The phone call where the...
One phone call with me and Ben, which is not illegal because he was not a felon.
Correct. The question's going to be...
But she ruled on a motion. If you look at the motion she ruled on, which was a squash/Franks, she ruled on motion that evidence I don't have. I still don't have.
What?
Phone calls between her and Tori. Brianna and Tori. And the fact of no matter if Ben was a felon or not, what they found in my house was justifiable. No, because they wouldn't have been there.
So
the root of the poisonous tree. You haven't went through my case. That's what I'm saying.
I've gone through your case multiple times. So,
all right.
So
everybody says that.
Show me the evidence you believe that's there. That was because it would have been presented to the judge, right? So tell me which evidence you don't have.
All of this is the whole. I don't have none of this evidence.
No,
this is all about the phone call and about Ben being not a felon. And no matter what.
I need a specific what. Where does she refer to a phone call that she heard between your aunt and your cousin in that?
This was happening on November 10th. Okay. I got you December 3rd, right?
Okay.
And Corey stepped down December 2nd. He never gave me no evidence. You gave me a year and a half later.
But you just told me. So all of this. The judge made rulings.
All of the phone call and everything. If you read it.
Where is it? Read it.
You read it. I've done it. I've done it. I will submit it.
I am slow. Show me where it says she relied on a phone call between your aunt and your cousin.
Have you read this?
Yes.
So read it. I'm not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to help me counsel.
You're supposed to help me too.
And and untimely and without merit. Without merit, how is it not without merit when Ben was not a felon? At the end of the day, this is where it started from, was the phone call. Corey said it and you said it.
Okay.
The reason why we're here is the phone call.
Correct. And so this was a Franks hearing. A Franks hearing is essentially...
That was a squash/Franks hearing.
The Franks hearing, essentially.
It was the complaint with the Franks hearing.
So the Franks hearing is the main thing that she's ruled on here. With the Franks hearing, you look at we've gone over this a couple times. You look at the the affidavit for the warrant, and you take out the part that is untrue. What's the part that's untrue in that warrant?
In the search warrant? Everything's untrue. Carl not being at my location, Carl not getting taken out of
That
my
doesn't
location,
matter.
Carl
What-
being